Alrighty, so what if we're dealing with our function being represented not as an equation, but as a table? How does this work? How can we still use function notation to evaluate these? Okay, so h of negative 6. So that's saying t is equal to negative 6. So I'm going to look in my table, where is t negative 6? Right here. Okay, so if t is negative 6, h of negative 6 is going to be the output, which is going to be negative 4.5. All right, so next up, we got h of 0. So I'm going to look, where is t equal to 0? T is equal to 0 right here. And when I plug in 0 for t, I get out 0 for h of t, h of 0. Okay? H of negative 4.5. So I look, where is t negative 4.5? I see that right there. And negative 4.5, if I plug in negative 4.5, I get out 0. Okay, that's fine. None of the inputs are repeating. This is still a function. What about for our second row? Here I'm telling you h of t equals 10. All right, so I'm telling you that the y value, the output, is 10. What does the input have to be that gives me out 10? So I'm looking at this row now. Where is an output of 10? Right here. All right, so h of negative 1 is equal to 10. So t value would be negative 1. If I plug in negative 1, I get out positive 10. Okay, what if h of t equals 0? So if my output, again, we're looking at this row. If my output is 0, what is my input? So here's an output of 0. Here's another output of 0. Okay, so t could equal 0 or t could equal negative 4.5. We want to include both of the inputs that are possible there. Okay, and then our last one, h of t equals 1. If we have an output of 1, that's right here. Anywhere else? No, it's just at that value, okay? T would equal 5. If I plug in 5, I get out 1. Okay, so that's how we use it with a table. You want to look, are we looking for our inputs or are we looking for our outputs? What about a graph? So here you see a graph. Let's use that to find the values. F of 6. So this is saying I'm plugging in 6. So I'm plugging in 6. That happens here. I get out this point on my graph. All right, so if I plug in 6, I get out 1. All right, what about if I plug in 0? If I plug in 0, I'm going to get out this point on my graph. That output value, or the y value, or the f of 0 value, is 4. What about f of negative 1? So here I'm plugging in negative 1. All right, so if I follow this graph up, it's going to be right about there. It's not going to be a nice value. All right, so instead of an equal sign, I'm going to bring in something called like an approximate sign. All right, f of negative 1 is approximately 3.1, okay, or 3.2, or even if you said 3, I would probably accept that as well. But I don't know for sure where this is at. I know it's somewhere in between 3 and 4. Okay, and it's on the low end of those numbers between 3 and 4. So sometimes we can't tell for sure off a graph, but we can approximate, and we still want to do that. Okay, let me clear my graph just because we're going to mark it up for the next one too. All right, now I'm giving you an output. If f of x is equal to negative 2. So here I'm telling you the y value is negative 2. So I look here, where do I get an output of negative 2 at this point right here? Okay, so what do I have to plug in for x to get out an output of negative 2? I have to plug in negative 4. All right, if f of x equals 4, so again, I'm looking at an output of 4. So if I go here, what do I plug in to get an output of 4? Well, there's several things. I could plug in anything from 0 to 3. Anything on this closed interval from 0 to 3. Okay? So, because you notice I can plug in 0 and get out 4. I can plug in 1 and get out 4. I can plug in 2.5 and get out 4. So anything from 0 to 3 is going to give me an output of 4. All right, and then our last one is x, if f of x equals 1. So we get a different color here. All right, so if I'm looking at this output of 1, you'll see that happens at 2 locations, right here and right here. All right, so the easy one is x could equal 6. This one is not quite negative 2. It's really close to negative 2. All right, but negative 2 gets an output of 0. So it has to be a little to the right of negative 2. So x could equal 6, or x could be approximately negative 1.8. All right, something that's close to 2 but isn't 2. Okay, something between negative 1 and negative 2. All right, so that is how we do it based off of table or a graph. Graphs can get a little tricky because we have those approximate values. Just let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, start working on the practice problems.